And we're coming to you live from the Rocket Health studio here in sunny Southwest Florida. I am Tyler McClosky. Welcome to another edition of the Tyler McClosky Show. I know everybody's freaking out a little bit this weekend of the potential hurricane. Relax. It's okay. I think it's okay. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. Let's not overreact. If it's your first time going through it, welcome to Southwest Florida. Approaching here August time period. So usually we don't get hurricanes this late in the year, but let's see what happens as the weekend comes around. But I think everybody's going to be just fine. If you are seriously concerned, this may be the best time to revisit your health insurance. So, specifically what happens, and if it hasn't already been released today, it will be later on today or tomorrow. Anytime that there's a named storm that's coming through the area, anything to do with your auto and homeowners insurance always gets put on hold. This is why people know that they have to have it before something happens, right? And your health insurance should be the same thing. Now, health insurance isn't going to mandate that you actually have to have coverage before something happens, but they're not going to cover something that's already happened to you if you don't already have the health insurance in place. So, getting on that first topic of today, again, this is the Tyler McClosky Show where we talk to you about all the facts, not feelings, in regards to your health insurance. And again, giving you some facts right there of what you guys really need to know. Been doing this show for about a little over a year and a half on Fox News Radio. Appreciate everybody here in Southwest Florida. You can stream us and find the show on Spotify, Apple iTunes, or iHeartRadio. And every single week, it's been getting more and more traction about the health insurance business. And why is it right now, too? We're getting ready to come into open enrollment. And I really need to emphasize on a couple of things this week specifically. As October is getting ready to approach, here's what happens, and we've already seen it happen. Insurance carriers start to increase their premiums because they know that people right now are all rushing to try to get this taken care of. Now, I'm not here to debate whether that's right, whether it's wrong, whether we like it or we don't, but it's a fact of what happens. So this week is very, very crucial and important. If you are thinking about your health insurance, if you're waiting for that right time to either buy a plan or change your plan, I would highly advise you try to call us to review what your options might be. Phone number to reach the show is 239-633-3140. Again, 239-633-3140. Or visit online at tylermcclosky.com. And again, depending on what your situation is, again, we talk about this every single week on the show. A lot of you here are in that transitional period. You guys are stuck on Obamacare or you're stuck on a group plan and you're not sure what to do between now and Medicare. And when you're getting ready to get onto Medicare, can be the time of your life where your health insurance is the most expensive. But it doesn't have to be some of the numbers that you've seen advertised to you, from the media or on healthcare.gov or anything else like that. But the one thing I want to talk about is understanding and knowing what that plan is going to look like for you, how that plan is going to work. You see, when you're looking at health insurance on the private market, you have to ensure that you are getting a major medical health insurance policy. So let me explain that again. Major medical health insurance is the type of health insurance that you guys need to protect you from all the major events. Catastrophic coverage, hospitalizations, cancers, heart attack, stroke, anything of a critical illness diagnosis. You don't want to just get an upfront check and then you have to pay the rest. A lot of people are under that misconception here. We just helped a client out this week. They've been on a plan for the last 3 years and had no idea that the plan that they signed up for was indemnity insurance. So what is indemnity insurance? Indemnity insurance means they pay the first dollar benefits, and then you pay the remainder. So while that may be good or bad for a small case scenario, for a couple stitches, maybe a small broken bone, maybe a couple doctor's visits, it's what happens after that doctor's visit. It might be that big diagnosis. It might be something that is a lot more serious than a couple $1,000s in bills. And if it does get to be that serious, that's where the major medical health insurance comes into play. That is where you have to make sure that you have those policies to cover hospitalization, surgeries, ICU coverage, and everything else like that. And for me, it's kind of second nature. I've been doing this for over 12 years now, and I thought that most people kind of understood that. But even doing this show specifically and having people call us from this show, we're finding out every single week a lot of you are stuck in a bad situation. So we're here to educate you. Yes, we'd love to help you enroll in the best plan that's available, but we're here to educate you on what you have and what makes the most sense for you and your family. Okay? So right now, if you're on something that you're not really sure what it is, do me a favor. Take out your health insurance card, look at it, and read it. Does it say your benefits on there? Does it say what your deductible is? Do you know if it's major medical? Is it an indemnity policy? Is there no deductible? If you're not too sure what all of those things mean, I'd be happy to help you out and go over it with you. Myself, my team, we have a team of agents here that can do every single thing that you guys need on the private health insurance market. Phone number again is 239-633-3140. Again, 239-633-3140. All right, coming up next, we're going to take a quick short break, give you a little bit more examples of what we have seen just this past week before open enrollment, go over some plan examples and designs for you and your family, and what those actual prices are. Everybody stay tuned. You guys are listening to the Tyler McClosky Show. Welcome, everybody, back to the Tyler McClosky Show, coming to you live from 92.5 Fox News and the Rocket Health Studios right here in sunny Southwest Florida. And we hope that it stays this way all week long. So everybody make sure you're taking care of yourselves, but don't freak out. Don't get too overzealous about the hurricane that may or may not be coming. We'll kind of see what transpires over the next couple of days. And as you're reviewing everything right now, we talked about in the first segment, everybody's always so quick to review their auto insurance, their homeowner's insurance. They want to know what's going to happen to them in these type of scenarios and situations. And that's the first thing that they go to. I really care about what everybody's health insurance is because sometimes that's the most confusing part about your insurance, and it's the thing that you have to probably use the most. I mean, if you had to sit down and think about it for a moment and you realized how many times have you used your homeowner's insurance over the life of your home or maybe over your entire life? If you're, in your 50s and you're listening to the show, let's say you've owned a home for the last 20, 30 years, how many times have you had to use that homeowner's insurance? And typically, usually every year, every couple of years, you're always shopping it around. You know that you have to have it. You would never go without it. And you shop that insurance every couple of years. Now, let's look at the flip side and compare that to your health insurance. And how often do you use your health insurance? Even if it's just for the once-a-year doctor visit, which you can pay out of pocket for, that's no big deal. But how many times over the last 5 years, 10 years, 20 years have you had to have a procedure done? Have you had to have an MRI, X-ray, or scan done? Or worst case, who's listening in right now today and you've been diagnosed with cancer? Or a family member has been diagnosed with cancer? What do? I know when that situation happens and arises, you have to make sure that you have the best possible health insurance in place. And the reason for this show and the reason we talk about it is because you have to have it in place before it happens. So I hate that I have to kind of preach on that a lot, but again, more and more people are calling in that don't have any health insurance at all. They've went without it. They've gone these time periods without the health insurance. Why are you doing that to yourself? Maybe it's you've looked at it before and it's been super unaffordable, but that's why we do what we do, and that's why we're able to help you get a better plan at a better price. So we can review it today, and we're going to go over some examples. Before we do, phone number to reach me directly, myself or my team, 239-633-3140. Again, 239-633-3140. So I want to go over what it looks like for specific individuals that are needing health insurance. And we talk about it all the time as far as that bridge to Medicare and somebody that's in their 60s, 61, 62 years old, and you need 2, 3, 4, 5 years of coverage till you reach Medicare. We've talked about that a lot, I'm going to reiterate that again for you and go over what that looks like. Somebody that, let's say they're on a COBRA plan, they're on a group plan, or they have no health insurance at all. It's all irrelevant to that point. It's what are you looking for today and how are you going to purchase your plan? Depending on the deductible that you're needing, depending on the deductible that you want, the average price for somebody that is 62 years old is going to be right around $615 a month. We can go a little bit higher or a little bit lower. Now, that's going to be a stark difference, a massive difference than what you've seen if you went to healthcare.gov. Because looking on healthcare.gov, you're paying for everybody's pre-existing conditions. Now, if you're healthy and you don't have massive pre-existing conditions, this is why you need to shop on that private market. Now, when I talk about pre-existing conditions, a lot of people think, oh, Tyler, I've got a medication. I got high blood pressure, cholesterol. Maybe I'm a little bit overweight. That is not going to make you ineligible for getting a private health insurance plan. You're able to still get that health insurance. And it just depends on the pre-existing conditions that we have to review. Those small scenarios are not going to make you ineligible. Now, if you are somebody that in the last 5 years has been diagnosed with cancer or heart attack or a stroke, diabetes, something major, then yes, we're going to look at a plan to see what's going to cover your pre-existing conditions and how much is that going to cost. To be quite frank and honest with you, the price is going to be a little bit more if you have pre-existing conditions that are needing to be covered. It's the price of insurance. I don't want to debate it. I don't make the prices up. I wish everything was as cheap as possible for you guys, but I'm going to navigate it through you the best way possible. Now, let's say you're not 60 years old. You're not that close to Medicare, but you're in that same situation. You're 50 or 55 years old. And it's one of the three scenarios that we get all the time. You're on a group plan that you don't like, that's costing too much, or it costs too much to add your spouse and dependents. You are on Obamacare and the price is through the roof, or you had to pay back on your taxes, or simply you have no health insurance at all. So depending on what your age is, but let's use a 54-year-old. And I'm going to use this example of the same thing. 54 years old in Southwest Florida, looking at a $5,000 deductible with United Healthcare. This plan does come with doctor copays, and we're covering the deductible in a lot of scenarios. That price of that plan in Southwest Florida today is $540 a month. There's the simple math. I'm not making you call in first to get the price and the quote. I'm telling you what the price is on a United Healthcare plan that is major medical on the private market so that you know what you're looking at before you ever call into the show. All right? If you need to review those options, if we want to look at that and we want to customize that for you and your family, maybe you have a spouse to add on, maybe you have children to add on, let's go ahead and review it. But I can assure you it's probably a lot cheaper than what you've ever seen on the marketplace before. So give me a call today, 239-633-3140. Again, 239-633-3140, or visit online at www.tylermcclosky.com. Again, www.tylermcclosky.com. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome, everybody, back to the Tyler McClosky Show, coming to you live from 92.5 Fox News in the Rocket Health Studios, rockethealth.com, rockethealth.com to get a free quote on your health insurance. That is the new company that we launched here in July of this year. I'm very excited, very proud of that. You guys are going to start hearing that name a lot more with all the agents that we're bringing onto the business. So please, if you guys want to visit the website directly, rockethealth.com, or give us a call today, 239-633-3140. If you guys are watching, I know because we are making this show now available on YouTube and on Spotify. I'm having mic issues today. I think the last 2 weeks, I've seen some radio people that are doing that all the time. You're always constantly adjusting, and I never noticed that until we start actually recording the show live here to be able to tape it and put it up for everybody to see. But again, the reason why we do this radio show every single week is the education purposes and the content that we're able to produce. We're taking something like health insurance, which is an immensely boring topic, something everybody hates, but we absolutely have to have. And we're trying to make it interesting and fun as much as possible, but I'm very passionate about giving you guys the facts versus the feelings. It's kind of the tagline of the show, facts versus feelings. And it's because I've seen too many clients burned by health insurance before, picking the wrong plan and using the wrong agent. Has anybody been in that situation before? Think about it. If you're driving right now and listening to the show, has anybody been burned by picking the wrong insurance plan and using the wrong agent? You know, what you really need to know when you're working with that health insurance agent is what plans do they offer, and do you have a variety to choose from? That's the biggest thing that I can tell you, and start there. And once you realize that they're subject to only one plan, you need to stop and do your research. Because the person that only can sell the one plan may be brainwashed by their company to only fixate on one type of policy. And you don't have the range of options that you deserve to be able to make that best decision. Now, again, I don't want to talk ill will about anybody that is directly selling one product and one product only. However, I was in that situation as a brand new agent 12 years ago. And if you are not doing your job as an agent to really find out what is available in all aspects of the market, then you're doing yourself a disservice. And without a doubt, you're doing your clients a disservice. And I promise you that 90% of those agents are always changing later on after they found out what they were selling wasn't the only option. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that the option that you have is terrible, it's awful, and that nobody should use it. What I'm saying is if you don't understand what's going on in the rest of the market and what's available, then you're doing the wrong thing. You've got to be able to know if somebody needs an ACA plan, a healthcare.gov plan, because of pre-existing conditions, because of things that they might absolutely need coverage for during open enrollment. And you've got to guide and direct them in that right way. You might have clients that are better apt for a fixed indemnity policy because of price and budget, or because of the age of where they're at. Now, quite frankly, in today's day and age and market, I will tell you right now today, there is no need for any healthy individual between the ages of 18 and 65 years old to ever be on a fixed indemnity policy if they qualify for private major medical. Now, private major medical may be talked about in the term of short-term major medical because the government mandates that's how that policy is said. But when you look at what the facts of what it is, it's major medical for up to 3 years of coverage or more, depending on your situation. Where everything on healthcare.gov ends on December 31st of every single year. So if you do have an Obamacare plan, you know that your plan and benefits end December 31st every single year. And then you have to renew it for January 1st. They may automatically renew you. They might automatically renew you into a new plan if that plan's available, if that company and carrier is still available. But your plan and benefits end December 31st of every single year. So for the government not to list that as short-term major medical that ends every year, even though it renews, but the private health insurance plans go for 3 years before you have to reapply for it, makes no sense to me. And if you want to talk, discuss, we go over that, but I try to put out as much content available on the show as possible so that you guys understand what it is that you're looking at. And again, if you're an agent that doesn't have every product or isn't available to speak about it all, or is not at least educated precisely on everything that's available, you're doing yourself a disservice. Because if you qualify for it and the price is right and it makes sense, then a short-term major medical policy on the private market from United Healthcare, National General and Allstate, or Pivot Health is probably going to be the absolute best option for you. Now, some people, and we can probably cut this a little bit for content for the show, are talking specifically about the expanded subsidies for the ACA market. Now, again, I'm not going to sit here and talk to clients today and preach to you on whether that's good for you or not. All I'm going to say is that you had better make sure and ensure that whatever it is you are putting on an application to try to receive a subsidy or reduction in premium from a tax credit, that it is absolute 100% to the T accurate, or you're going to be forced to pay it back when you do your taxes. So I have clients all day long that reach out to us that it doesn't even matter what it is that they make as their income, because we never ask them that question, because they do not want to provide income, tax benefits, or anything to receive health insurance. And on the private market, that's why the plans are so much cheaper. You see, when you do that on the ACA or the marketplace or healthcare.gov, which again, we can help you with, we can enroll you there if we need to. If that came up right now in October, November, December of this year of 2022, and we say we need to enroll you in a new plan for January 1st of 2023, we're going to put on your application what it is that you think you're going to make for the entire year of 2023. So when we enroll you now, that covers you for the year of 2023. And then when you file your taxes in March or April of 2024, which is about 20 months from now, if the number you put on that application is wrong from what you actually make, guess what? You now have to pay that back on your taxes at the end of the year. Don't believe me? Fact check it. So many of you have called my show around tax time period and said, I can't believe that my health insurance I was only paying $75 a month for just hit me on my taxes because the number was wrong, and I got hit with an $8,500 tax bill. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? It's taxes. You got to pay for it. So they're going to get it back from you one way or another. Now, the way to avoid that, to not have to deal with that, is as long as you're in good health and you qualify for the private market, you can look at short-term major medical plans from the three carriers that I just spoke to you about. They're all PPOs, national coverage, and give you every single thing that you're going to need in a policy, the peace of mind that you deserve, without having the tax burden or the headache about what you may or may not get from a subsidy. This is the way that insurance is supposed to be. Now, trust me, I wish that once you applied, you could have it till you're 65 and they could never take it away. Unfortunately, the government knocked that way down. They knocked it down to 90 days at one time period. And then when President Trump was in, he passed the law that was very quietly done. There was no media attention to it that now allows you to get those type of plans for a maximum of 3 years before you have to reapply. But who knows what's going to happen in 3 years? Take the best thing that's available for you today at the best rate for the best plan without sacrificing coverage. I talk about that all the time. You're not sacrificing coverage. You have to make sure that you have the best plan at the best price. So, phone number to reach the show directly, 239-633-3140. Again, 239-633-3140, or visit online at www.tylermcclosky.com. Again, www.tylermcclosky.com. And we're closing out the month of September. We're getting ready to get into the fourth quarter of the year, the finish line, especially with health insurance and business. It's getting ready to get busier than ever before. Get ahead of it if you're able to. It doesn't matter what the situation is. We'll review it. We'll look at it. We'll talk about it. And myself or my team is going to help you find the best plan at the best price. But why don't you get ahead of it now as opposed to waiting till the end of October, November, December, until it's too late? Until something happens and now you're ineligible for that plan and that price. So I've got a team of agents that are on standby over these next couple weeks here as we're getting busier and busier to make sure that we're helping out. All right. And when it comes to open enrollment, hopefully we're not going to play any repeat shows, but we are going to be that busy. So this is the time to take advantage of it. Last thing that I want to sign off with everybody, as I want to start promoting this and getting everybody in the knowledge to know. Medicare. For everybody that's actually on Medicare right now today, we're getting ready for annual enrollment. You have to make sure that you have the right plan. Your choice between a Medicare supplement and a Medicare Advantage plan is going to be a drastic decision in your Medicare life. So decide what it is that you're wanting or looking at. Have an idea. Give me a call and let's review it and go either direction. Now, again, depending on your situation for what you need, a Medicare supplement might be better for you or a Medicare Advantage plan might be better for you. Personally, you want my opinion. I think that's why you're listening to the show as well. You want facts, but you also want the direction and opinion of that. The fact is, when you're turning 65, you can make an open choice to get either plan that you want, Medicare supplement or Medicare Advantage. That's the fact. The opinion, I think you should go to a Medicare supplement when you turn 65 all day long. Why? It is the only time in your life that you are in open enrollment and guaranteed issued to get that policy without any health questions whatsoever. If you wait or want to change in the next years, you're going to have to go through underwriting and a health questionnaire to see if you qualify for it. Now, there's stipulations, there's a bunch of things that are involved with it, but when you turn 65, that is the best option because you never have to worry about health questions. You're guaranteed issue. We just helped a client last week that went towards the Medicare Advantage route. They already signed up, but they're turning 65 in a couple months. And when we discussed what was better for them, we were able to get them a Medicare supplement for $200 a month that covers them at 100%. It's everything that you guys need. So as we're coming into annual and open enrollment for Medicare, please do not forget that we can help you out with every single thing you need on the Medicare market. Phone number again is 239-633-3140. Last time, 239-633-3140. Thank you, everybody. You have been listening to the Tyler McClosky Show. We will see you next week.